taken away. Not super surprising to see that denial. We'll figure out what they're going to go with alongside that Nami. Likely the Draven. The Draven has been kind of the Nami combo quite often. I would say Caitlyn can work.
I do feel like
I've seen a game of Caitlyn from line.
Also, like more and more in like recent splits, I feel like more players who aren't historical Draven players have even been willing to pick it up because, you know, back in the day it was like only if you are like a Jackie Love, a Crystal, like a Freeze, you know, one of these guys who is known for the Draven is when you would pick it up. But looks like they're going to go with the Caitlyn. And I guess speaking on people being known for champions, Light and his Caitlyn, I mean, that was one of LNG's go-to strategies, was setting Light and Iwandi up on like a Caitlyn plus X bottom lane, and really just playing for that bot lane supremacy.
I mean, it's not surprising that Light was playing a bunch of Caitlyn and stuff when he's with Iwandi, who's known as like that Janimate, essentially coming into the league. But now alongside Crisp, but Crisp looked amazing in game number 1 on that Nami, so definitely we'll be able to set Light up with his traps, and I'm imagining just annihilate turret plates down to the bottom side. Karsa with the ganking jungler once again as Ahri banned away by Weibo, looking to set up good solo lanes here for Xiaohu and TheShy.
Always love to see the Ahri ban coming in against Care, whether it is meta or not. For people who don't know, he really was an Ahri one trick, not in terms of LPL, like in solo queue. If you looked at his data last year, it was like 1,000 games on Ahri, and then like, you know, 300 on his next most played.
Which for any normal player, 300 games is a lot, but when you compare it to that 1,000 it shows the massive disparity.
And even in the LPL, I mean, you know, not to say, in LPL his Ahri was insane, but he even went that extra mile. So now for Weibo, looking at where they can go again. I mean, Ksante's still open.
Yeah,
You always could just go back to that.
I love that Fiora ban as well, because the Fiora ban, I mean, Xiaolaohu's a pretty good Fiora anyway, but it's also like, this is the biggest Ksante counter. We're going to ban the Fiora. Look, if you don't ban Ksante, we're picking it. Like, and it's down to FPX whether they want to ban that Ksante. I feel like inevitably that is the pick for Weibo, unless they have something up their sleeves and they want to go against the Ksante potentially. But nope, there it is, locked in for the shot.
Now for FPX, I wonder if maybe the Syndra hover came through expecting FPX to want to look for that again. This time around, they will have more presence down in that bottom lane. We know even if things with the Caitlyn have the range, you pose a lot of all-in threat as solution, which makes it so the Caitlyn can't just outright try and continuously chunk you down. They will go with the Ryze this time, though, so you're still going to have a lot of presence that you're able to bring down towards that bottom lane with the Realm Warp. And for FPX, when you already know Xiaolaohu's going to be left on an island, it seems like they're probably just going to end up going for this Gwen once again.
I just feel like we've got comfort across the board, at least for FPX, right? When you think of Care, Ryze is definitely one of his most played. We've seen Xiaolaohu on the Gwen. LWX, definitely an experienced Lucian player. And Lele, I mean, Yuumi is far and away his most played in the LPL so far. So, it does feel like comfort for FPX, but whether or not it will work, we saw the Gwen match against the Ksante last game, and it didn't look too pretty. And Xiaohu going to take some lane dominance in the mid lane in the form of a Syndra.
Also going to go back to comfort for himself. I mean, it's 2 games played on it this split. We've hit on it many times that coming into the LPL, he was known as a Syndra aficionado, and has always loved to go back to it over the years. Light on the Caitlyn and Karsa on the Sejuani, which I feel like in recent years has really become his staple. We're going to see what they can do. They have a lot of range to be able to play with up against what is a very low-range composition of FPX. FPX definitely wanting to be a little bit scrappier, a little bit more brawly, but definitely very pick-centric when you have, you know, Vi coming to B3s, then what Caitlyn can do up against him. But Weibo looking like they want to try and set their bot lane up for success early on. LWX.
Oh, he stepped too far. Karsa stepped just an inch too far there, and does get warded out. So LWX will walk away with his life. All right,
did we have FPX Gyos?
I think we maybe missed them. I think we maybe missed them at the start there, but a little bit of action towards the bottom lane. I love how usually you see the teams going through the brushes in the lane. Weibo were literally just charging across the lane. It was like a stampede of players down at the bottom side. Both trying to get there, bottom lane's ahead, but neither going to find an advantage to kick off. As Karsa moving up to that top side, opposite starts for our 2 junglers.
Karsa going to start on the top side, making his way down towards spot. It's about, I think, shadowing, enabling the Caitlyn and the Nami to be able to do what they do best. Try and be there to punish any all-in threat that does come out from the FPX side. And I'm surprised Hacker wouldn't want to look to match any plays like that, considering that when you look at their draft, I think it really is heavily dependent on how LWX is going to do. I also want to see Hacker attempt more plays towards the mid lane this time around. Syndra can do quite well in the isolated 1v1, but still just very easily prone to ganks. You have set up with the Ryze to be able to get the root down and then bring Hacker in.
Xiaolahu, sorry. This is the toughest matchup of the whole LPL to cast. Xiaohu and Xiaolahu in the same game.
I don't agree, especially now that we have Hung and Hung in the league.
That's true.
We have Hung and Hung.
That's true. We used to have Wei and Wei. That was always a tough one.
Yeah.
Especially when, you know, they're both playing at the same role. But a fairly quiet start to this one. But then game number 1 was a fairly quiet start until like 5 or 6 minutes in, and then it just suddenly exploded on every lane simultaneously. Stun into stun in the mid lane.
Oh!
The flash for flash! And I take it back. It's not a quiet start. It's a Karsa start.
3 camps into a mid lane gank. We were hitting on how we want to see FPX find impact in this mid lane early, but Weibo are the ones to do it. Showing you have that scatter of the week. You can use that tool to set up very easily to find the kill. And unlike FPX in game 1, Weibo were able to do it this time around. Xiaohu being very patient, waiting for Care to go for the trade himself before that comes in. Karsa flashing to be able to follow up and make sure he continues to get those autos down. And Care does go down in the end. And we see Xiaohu.
Hacker's on the way, but I don't know if he'll be here in time. Oh no, the Shy's! He's fumbled it. He does go down. I mean, I don't even know what to say about that.
No, I don't think that's fine. I think the Shy did a good job. Gets the kill. The wave's already pushed in the tower. You've done everything you need to do.
Yeah.
Because in my mind, there's almost no way that I think you find that kill without going down, unless Xiaolaohu makes a mistake there, considering that he does have that go. So it won't lose out on everything. Though I do believe Hacker did pick up a majority of that wave, so Golden Experience still did go over no matter what. And Hacker just going to use this time to get down some vision and take away something from the side of Weibo. So is trying to put more pressure on Karsa this time around, like we hit on.
Yeah.
But that's also very hard when, like, you need your lanes to be doing well to be able to find those invades, have the numbers advantage.
Oh.
And, ooh.
It doesn't even lead to anything. It just looked good. Like, Crisp on Nami, I'm a big fan of all of a sudden.
I am just happy to be in a situation where Crisp was on a team that is winning, and we are back to a place where it's like, cool. Good plays from Crisp that can turn into wins. That one turned into nothing, but it was still sexy, and that's what we want.
We haven't hit on the fact that it's Crisp versus LWX as well. Like, these two veterans up against each other. And let's be honest, Crisp is definitely getting the upper hand of that matchup.
It feels so weird, which I guess is why we haven't hit on it, because of the last year, where it's like, okay, Crisp on BLG, FPX still with LWX, and at first it looked like LWX kind of had the better end of the dissolution, where him and Hung were really just popping off at the start of the year, but now in this Weibo squad, Crisp, the one who's feeling more comfortable.
Yeah, turns out being on the highest budget squad in the history of LPL. I don't know if that's actually true, but it definitely feels that way. And that's definitely going to do wonders for your KDA, that's for sure.
You know, I don't know if it is, but it's definitely up there. Is Xiaohu?
Oh my days, instant all-in on the top side. Stun is there. And it's an easy pickup. They just make it look beautiful. Hacker nowhere in there to answer the play. TheShy denying yet another wave. No TP up for Xiaolahu.
And it just looks like a repeat of game 1. Just pure dominance coming out from the side of Weibo. TheShy able to get this lead with the help of Karsa. You can see in the mid lane, Xiaohu's been doing well. He got an early gank, so his lead makes a bit of sense. And White and Chris finding a CS advantage on their own, but we were hitting on that. We would have liked to see Hacker play down around them. I mean, the strength of LWX and Lola in this matchup isn't just about the isolated 2v2. As they're getting levels, again, it'll do better once like the culling comes online and you have like more damage to force an all in. But it's about the strength that you have in these early skirmishes. The Hacker just has not been able to find any avenues to get involved. And look, we even have a control ward in the enemy jungle, so even a bit of information for Weibo to play with on where Hacker is at all times.
And that's so crucial for when you've got a top laner like TheShy, right? Having that deep vision, though, so he can play as aggressive as he wants and needs to. Still, that level advantage. Xiaolaohu's still not quite hit that level 6 mark just yet, and TheShy almost level 7 at this point. But, I mean, the fact that Hacker is ahead in CS in the jungle as well is kind of funny to me, because that's not even a jungle camp difference. It's just that twice now he's picked up a stacked top wave that was crashing underneath the tower. It's a tough situation for FPX, that's for sure. And maybe, once again, it comes to the conversation of looking towards that bottom lane duo.
I think it was a clip a long time ago. Might have been from Casual. A bit memey that you know the best feeling as a jungler when your laner dies was getting,
you can grab the wave.
Getting that huge wave. So Hacker hopefully at least in a pretty solid
he's loving
this
game.
You know?
He loves losing in the LPL. He just can't get enough. Oh dear, yeah. Not, you know, it's a consolation prize. It's a silver lining for Hacker, but hey, at least he's getting them fat waves. Karsa is behind enemy line. Well, not quite, but he's behind Hacker.
Level 6s are online now, so... Ooh.
Hacker's Q is on cooldown, but he has flash. Karsa decided not to pull the trigger in the end.
Nice damage coming out from LWX this time around, but I want to actually go back to the minimap because look, Karsa's still posturing so aggressively around this mid lane with the fact that Xiaohu is able to follow up. With the fact that Xiaohu left lane, you would expect that Care should have been able to get the wave kind of pushed back into him though, so it will make it harder for any opportunities, which is why we see both junglers just electing to recall in the end. And I just want to keep focusing on what Hacker does now, because you now have the Vi ult available. This is where the easiest time to try and get some of these plays out is. Rift Herald up, so you'd expect focus to come down to that, but I think for the side of FPX, it would be quite hard to contest Weibo if they do look for a play up towards that top side, just with how strong members like TheShy are getting.
Yeah, Hacker is forced to flash by TheShy, who is literally just 2v1ing at the top side. Karsa finally moving over to the play. They can't even get the ward down. Realm Walk comes in, 2v3 as in comes Care to make the play, but they just pull Hacker out of the skirmish, and now the re-engage with Xiaohu here. TheShy over the wall, the double stun as a blast cone in will cement Xiaolaohu's death. Scatter the weak, ready to come back through once again. Care underneath the tower, it's not even needed. This is just gorgeous from Weibo.
Weibo doing a great job, not able to punish Ksante in the way you're able to punish other top laners. They pick up the kills, they're going to get more waves, and they're picking up plates across the map. I guess the silver lining for FPX is we're going to see LWX maybe get some plates of his own. But this is what I was saying, I would have liked to see FPX just go down towards bot and avoid Weibo. They go for this play, I get it, you have the Realm Warp, but Ksante can just do things other top laners can. Yeah. Like escape situations like that with his ultimate. One member already down. We see the Flash Scatter of the Week come out to lock Xiaolaohu down, and then TheShy continues to run both members down. I like that he tries to get the Q knockup onto Care because they know that Xiaolaohu's already in a dangerous position. Does miss out, but still get both kills at the end of the day.
Oh no, TheShy is feeling confident to 2v1 in the bottom side as he just starts charging in. I mean, look at his items. He's already got the Frozen Fist. The Mercs will stop the slows coming down. LWX goes forward. TheShy taken down. LWX an 800 gold cash in right there.
LWX trying to find ways for FPX to get back in the game. This is why before, I think you just outright give up your top side. Give up Herald. Like, sure, you'll even probably lose your camps. It's going to be a rough trade, but you're falling so far behind already. Double down on the fact that you have this Lucian Yuumi, which really should be the focal point of your draft, and just keep trying to get them ahead. They're starting to do that now, but we might be getting close to a point of no return. We can already see Ludens picked up for Xiaohu. Frostfire in hand for TheShy. These soul laners are massive, and now they're just going to continue to break down these structures around the map. Or I guess start being their first turret.
Yeah. Just demolition here from Weibo. A great pickup by Light and Lele, but is it really going to be enough? Having that gold on the Lucian will certainly help. It does mean that Gale Force is finished with a couple of long swords to boot as well. And I feel like TheShy was a little overconfident in that play. They're like, okay, Shy, go down to the bottom side, just stop them pushing, just soak up that wave. And he's like, go to the bottom side, kill them both. Got the command boss, I'm going in.
I can even understand trying, right? Because you're this like huge 5-kill Ksante, and you're trying to like find out what you're able to do.
Look, if you've not played Ksante at home, when you've got a bit of gold behind you, you really do feel invincible. Like, I don't blame him for going for the play.
I remember after our series the other day, you know, we saw the shots Ksante. Munch was like, is this champion really like that easy and that broken? Goes into solo queue. He's like, yes, it is. As we see TheShy trying to go for this once again.
He's like, it didn't work the first time. Time for round 2. It works this time as Light arrives to finish the kill. Oh, the tidal wave. Not quite long enough. It was close, though.
The trajectory, though, was gorgeous.
Crisp is on point tonight. I really hope this game just goes on forever so Crisp can get MVP in game number 2, because
we might be just set up for another Karsa MVP game, though. Coming in from Weibo are going to be there sitting with all their wins. Karsa the only one with MVPs.
The mid lane gank was gorgeous to start it all off, right? Where he flashes to get the play on.
Oh my god, he's even holding.
Now that is an MVP jungler right there.
TheShy loves
him.
An
MVP jungler. What a legend. What? This is everybody's dream jungler right there.
Did you see the cheeky laugh and the cute little smirk coming on through? TheShy is so happy.
He's a crowd pleaser. The crowd going wild over him holding that wave.
I will say
that's more of a cheer than you get for kills.
Like, right, I used to coach in the LMS, so I've met Karsa a few times, and we didn't speak the same language. Usually people are very shy talking to people and you don't know the language. Karsa was like very like warm and nice and just such a wholesome guy to like be around and try and chat with, because he was willing to try with his broken English. I was trying with my broken Mandarin.
Yeah.
Didn't really work.
I love that phrase, to try and chat with. But you know, I love to hear that. Love to hear that. Hacker, not loving to hear anything right now. Although, good little flash over the wall, gets himself out to safety. And Weibo continue to layer the pressure on. It's a 4,000 gold lead. Drake not up for another couple of minutes, but the Scuttle Crab is. Karsa happy to 1v3 for this one, as he dashes on out, realizing the situation.
So FPX getting small wins. We always take those, as we're going to see here. Scout of the Week landing. I mean, really nice CC chain coming out from Weibo, even if they aren't able to guarantee the kill in the end.
The one thing I will say is, like, I am glad Karsa backed away from that play there, because it's very easy when you're winning this hard on the top side to think, we're all massive, this is easy, fight all the time. But actually, the bottom side is really not that ahead. I mean, Light is basically even in gold, maybe actually a bit behind in gold compared to LWX. Your mid lane is not that significant of a lead. You are ahead there, but it's not like night and day in the same way that it is on the top side. So you do have to be a little bit cautious if TheShy isn't part of the play.
Yeah, I wonder how much gold Xiaohu's sitting on as well. I believe he went to base not too long ago. Shouldn't be too much, but even just the fact of like his early base damages as composed to Care should be able to make up a significant difference. Is Light gonna look for a huge trade. Scout of the Week doesn't connect for it to turn into anything more.
Yeah. And now into the mid lane they go. This should just go down with a Caitlyn there. The Realm Warp's going to come on through. Traps available here. Care off to the side, but the bubble instantly from Crisp. And it's just Hacker to go down. Care trying to do what he can, but what he can is not a whole lot right now. And the siege will continue. This is where Caitlyn shines, and TheShy can just walk forward like a moving brick wall to zone everyone out.
And I mean, his TP was coming down here, but Dragon's coming up in 15 seconds. I'm a bit surprised to see him making his way back up towards the top side. Xiaolaohu was committed as well, so maybe he can look to match if he sees him up in that lane. But I would like to see Weibo just start posturing for this Drake, but maybe their thought process is like, we are so far ahead. I mean, this game should end before Seoul. We're sitting at about a 6K gold lead now for Weibo. They have the snowball tools there. Weibo are going to be the ones to start up this Dragon, so it's actually FPX, even with the fact that they were out on the map much earlier, not feeling confident that they can get it fast enough before Weibo would be able to match. Which means our focus probably going to turn up towards that Herald.
Yeah.
Going to come up in 24 seconds.
Like, and the thing is as well, I agree with you that Soul's probably not going to play in this game at all, but an Infernal Drake, you'll take that anyway. percentage increase on your damage when you're already snowballing is never going to go right.
Yeah. My point was that I just thought Weibo wouldn't have gone for it, considering that TheShy go back up top side, but FPX don't, FPX know the position they're in very well.
I think Weibo just like, oh, well, they're not going to come for us, so we might as well take our freebie. TheShy in a 1v3 once again. How many times do we say that every single game? He's in trouble this time, though. Low on HP are taken down. Here comes the cavalry, but TheShy had a lot of this team's gold. As Xiaohu trying to finish the kill on Tahaka will finally do so. And with the jungler going down, that might just be Herald secured.
Oh yeah, it definitely is. I mean, if FPX weren't willing to try to use like the tempo they had to try to take Dragon before, I think there's no way they'd go for this with the fact that, I mean, Hacker even being down. Care going to try and find some gold backs on the opposite side of the map, though. Will be able to get the first turret for the side of FPX, as TheShy has been doing a great job all game of looking very delicious. He still is an incredibly tanky boy, though. That's very hard to take down. And goes in, does go down in the end, but buys enough time for the cavalry to show up. Xiaohu trying to just take Hacker down with his fuse, ends up missing pretty much all the skill shots, and is like, you know what, I just got some orbs on the ground.
Just presses the out skill button.
Able to get
Yeah, it's well played by Hacker to dodge a couple of those skill shots, but doesn't matter in the end. 9-3 in terms of kills, and it's a 6,000 gold lead. As with that Herald, we'll see where Karsa wants to go. There's no tier 1s available on the map, so you could just try and snowball for more. If you can bait FPX into a play on like the top lane where the tower's already a little bit damaged, maybe you can snowball that into an inhib.
I feel like usual play would be like using it where you're more, like whichever soul laner that you tend to play around, the more volatile one is.
TheShy.
Yeah, so go with him, drop that down. But I would also love if they do just try to brute force a fight out of nowhere and then are like,
end the game.
Let's look for a 19-minute, 30-second game win.
Go full G2 on this one. Have to see. I wouldn't put it past him. TheShy moving down to try and contest Xiaolaohu on the bottom side, who just has to back away completely.
They're looking for the engage.
Yeah, the squad's just moving forward to the mid lane. Oh my days! That's what you. Oh my days!
We might have
what? That's insane.
And now 2 members dead. You still have that Herald available. Wave is going to come through right now. Light's just using the range he has to be able to chip this down. I mean, in a way, we're going to go for the push.
This Syndra kill, I've seen that damage before, but then the one-shot onto LWX as well. Caitlyn only has 1.5 items. How is that possible?
The mandate, the enhancement coming out from Chris, providing so much.
That was insane. That was
those burst scenarios.
Herald will be taken down before he gets another charge, but well, mid-inhib take. You said we wanted to see them just fight for something. They've definitely done that. As Xiaohu now uses the Zonyas to deny the Vile, flashes into the brush. Can he survive this one? There's a heal that came out, but stuck in the back of a blue pit. And now the re-engage from Weibo. Numbers disadvantage, but I don't think they care at this point. Xiaolaohu goes down. Karsa taken out, though. It's a 3v4, I'm pretty sure, but Weibo's still happy to charge on forwards. A double comes through for Light. There's one for TheShy as well, as LWX has to try and maneuver his way out of this play. But the tower's only got 2 HP. Light's going to move on forwards. TheShy more than happy to tank this one, but I don't think he should be at this point. LWX with the outplay, dodging everything. The slow isn't there, but the Zoomies keep LWX moving. He is the ray of hope for FPX in this game. If they can find the slow, Crisp is there. LWX chasing down. Doesn't have the culling available. Dashes forwards. Final chapter. Not enough.
LWX able to get some things back for FPX, but Weibo, and they were just getting too ahead of themselves. Definitely overheating in that one. I mean, TheShy, even Karsa, I think, with his like aggressive move up towards like the blue buff when the rest of the team was going down. We're gonna see how it all happens here. Going on to Xiaohu, does my time with the stopwatch, but then flashing up, I feel like was one of his downfalls. Really nowhere to go though. I like that Care also matched the flash top side since his bot side was like running down through that choke. You see Weibo wanting to answer back. They know how incredibly strong they are now. And then sadly Karsa going up, rest of the team not able to follow immediately. Light, it's still going to be all about the DPS, not, you know, that same amount of burst. Sure, it's there from the fact that he is so far ahead, but it's not like you have low cooldown abilities that you can just spam and try and follow up immediately. Here, this was a screen in my mind. Yeah. They're like, hey, we're very far ahead. Let's just go for this, try and get down LWX. But fantastic job dodging out on all those skill shots. I mean, the fight was fantastic for Weibo, except for the blue buff bit. We don't want to talk about the blue buff bit. I do think Xiaohu's Scat of the Week must have been on cooldown to start play. Tidal wave into the jungle there from Chris. Weibo just want to scrap at this point. They just want to go. But it's Xiaohu to be taken down to start this one off. TheShy charging forward, trying to find Care, but Care walking away with his life. And TheShy low on HP, taken down instead. Hacker falls to Light in the meantime. But again, a wooden fight for FPX. These fights are just so scattered. They're not even really fights if you think about it. It's like, you know, mini skirmish here, like one member of Weibo walking too far forward while the other members are trying to chunk out someone else. And it isn't like Karsa and TheShy in front, and then your artillery pieces in the Syndra and Caitlyn putting out damage in the back. You just keep opting into these very close range, very disconnected brawls, which coming out of draft is what we said, that's kind of what FPX do better. They're the shorter range comp, they still have a ton of CC, they have a ton of ways of just walking you down with things like Lola's ultimate. Part of it is the fact that Light is on Caitlyn. Caitlyn is notoriously the AD carry that you always want to be counting back. You want the enemy to play into you. You don't want to be chasing people. And all Weibo do so far this game is chase into FPX in these jungles. Exactly. I feel like especially in the jungle where there's like so many different paths, you get separated, people get isolated. They definitely would prefer a fight like either in lane or in river where the full enemy is right in front of you and you have all of your teammates there. So Weibo, I mean, the gold lead, I believe, has dropped a little bit. I think at one point we got up to like 8, 9K. Still very commanding lead for Weibo so far, but you're giving time for these members of FPX to get some more items under their belt. LWX especially now, sitting on that 3-item mark. It does just feel like Weibo have been a bit sloppy the last few minutes where they knew how ridiculously far ahead they were, and they just wanted to end the game. That's what it felt like to me. Being punished for that, LWX now massive on the 3 items. He's actually ahead of Light. It does feel like Weibo have to slow things down and actually play correct League of Legends again, instead of just completely disrespecting FPX. I still feel like they were far enough ahead to brute force. It was just like the way and the where that they were doing it that was really leading to FPX having... I mean, even brute forcing in the jungle like that could have worked if, you know, you aren't so disconnected with like Xiaohu so far forward and light off to another side of the jungle. And but it's like the first one of the 2 plays as well. Like, I think Xiaohu, the positioning was actually fine. The Realm Warp comes through, but I think his Scatter the Weak must have been on cooldown. He doesn't Scatter the Weak until he's at the blue buff. Like, you would 100% Scatter the Weak that Realm Warp every single time, right? So that must have been just a really, really good timing window from FPX to start off that initial play that... I think it could be rough, because if you Scatter the Weak right away and, like, you're even off by a millisecond and the Vi already gets to press R, it's, you know, you're kind of, it's kind of redundant, so... Yeah, maybe not then, maybe not. But as we return to the current time of the game, 7,000 gold lead, or 6.5, in favor of Weibo, and they're starting to clear away Baron Vision. Back to kind of stock and standard play here for Weibo. Make sure the Baron Pit is a dark zone for your enemy. Start it up, and then bait the enemy in. And that, we were talking about Caitlyn's comfort zone. When you're in control of Baron, they have to play into you. That is the perfect situation for life. It is, and they're just going to keep this going. FPX. It's a rough one. They can pretty much only do what they're looking to do right now, which is Hacker trying to play out a fog of war and them hope a member of Weibo makes a mistake. Because you're not winning inside, so we can see Xiaolaohu is just going to be struggling up against TheShy for the rest of the game. And Weibo don't need to, you know, lean down towards bot side or make a mistake. They can just keep pivoting back towards this top side river. I'm waiting to see when they start it up. With TheShy heading over now, we can see they are going to finally go for it. Yeah. Xiaolaohu walking on over though, so they won't be able to force a TP out from this one, I don't think. Hacker trying to find his way to the back of the Baron Pit, but look at those Caitlyn traps. This is what we're talking about. The sheer zone control that she brings to the table. Hacker's moved in, and TheShy was waiting in the wings. An easy pickup onto the enemy jungler. I mean, Weibo just make it look easy. And they didn't have a ward in the pit, so I guess theoretically they didn't know how low the Baron was, because without that information, and it looks so weird that Hackers walking up so early, is TheShy might go down.
LWX is destroying TheShy this game. It has to be said, every single time they're near each other, it happens. Xiaolaohu now, feeling himself a little bit, forces the flash out from Chris, because the rest of the team trying to back away. Bounty gold given to LWX as well.
The past 6 minutes have not looked like a game where a team has had a 6,000 to 8,000 gold.
No.
Like, FPX have done a tremendous job at keeping this close and taking advantage of mistakes from Weibo.
It has been fantastic so far. Like, if you ignore the first, I don't know, 18 minutes of the game, this has been a fantastic game for FPX. Managing to punish. It's almost like queuing into a challenge mode where you have to start from 8k down and fight your way back in. They're doing a great job of that.
It feels like it's the FPX bot lane who have to take on this challenge. It's really sad is, again, LWX has been finding these opportunities. We're going to see TheShy wanting to run forward, into really get the damage down, and you're at the point, right, where the amount of healing that Lele's going to be able to put up is huge. The mobility is there, especially with the build that he's gone right into Vori Quick Blades and Essence Reaver, so he's going to be able to get off a lot of those abilities just so consistently in a fight to be able to kite out and skirt around a lot of the CC that Weibo are throwing out.
Yeah. I mean, LWX is playing it incredibly. He's playing so well that he's making Ksante look like a balanced champion. Like, that's an impressive feat coming out from the bottom laner, the side of FPX.
I think TheShy was 5-1 earlier on in this game.
Oh yeah, he was, yeah.
And now up to 6-6. All off the back of LWX.
Yeah. Not ideal for TheShy. I think he would have liked to just keep getting kills and not dying. But dying is not something that TheShy is shy about. That's one thing that's for sure. More than I mean, he started that snowball. He went for the 2v1 against LWX.
Yeah.
I mean, he won one 2v1 against them later on in the game.
Ooh, right now FPX are going to look for the flank. Hacker going to wrap all the way around, but I mean, Weibo have the vision to spot this out, so they're going to bring TheShy in now to try to keep laying on the siege.
Yeah. Once again, one of Caitlyn's strengths being able to sit there. You can see the traps blocking the entrance. Hacker behind enemy lines. Tidal wave to stop the rest of the team joining in the fight. And it'll be Hacker to go down to start this one off. TheShy bringing Xiaolaohu into his team and walking away with his life. The straight 5v5 is just too much of a goal difference. Light exhausted. A great attempt from LWX as Light might go down, but the healing comes through. I don't know how he survived that one, but that will be game.
Good effort from LWX, but Weibo are just too strong right now. And finally seeing a consistent series come out from them.
Yeah. Still, some happy moments in this game, that's for sure. But like you say, dominance in the early games, clear win conditions, playing towards them, and I mean, fast games as well. Like, they were not messing about today.
I still think we've seen a lot of things from both of these games that Weibo need to iron out, and why, like their last years against BLG, that they aren't just going to be this powerhouse very early on. But you also see the opposite of that. You see the things that do make them a scary contender for the LPL championship, and again, just a few things to iron out, and they can just become such a dominating force like they were here today. Great to see Karsa just doing whatever he wanted in both early games. Chris really stepping up as well. Light and Xiaohu kind of being the consistent force that you hit on. And I mean, TheShy dominated both games. Like, even if he did start giving over kills in the latter half of the second game, TheShy's laning, it shows why, no matter what year or what split it was and how like fan perception of TheShy was, all other LPL top laners were like, this man is terrifying to face. Please no.
Yeah, he is something else up the top side, especially when you give him Ksante. Please stop giving the man Ksante. This is a message to all other LPL teams. Do not let TheShy play Ksante. It feels reminiscent of when Gwen came out. TheShy was the guy that was just dominating everyone on Gwen. Like, the new top lane champion's out. TheShy's really good at it again.
I remember
who's surprised?
I remember the problem was, though, that split was like, TheShy gets Gwen, like, they for sure win. It gets banned. Oh my God, they're done.
Well, we'll find out if that's going to be the case for Weibo when somebody finally bans Ksante against them.
Yeah, I don't know. I assume it's going to happen soon. I can understand why people didn't do it at first, because his first games of Ksante were actually in the last series. But I mean, you're gonna have to deal with you're gonna have to deal with the Jace, the Nidalee, the Nars. I'm wondering if we're gonna see him, bring out the Jaxes and the Fioras, like seem like the next tier of top laners, because that's what we haven't seen out from TheShy yet. This split.
Yeah, we're still kind of waiting for that from him. We've seen it plenty in the past, though, so I could imagine that that's certainly in his champion pool. I want to see the Fiora versus Ksante matchup. I feel like that's the matchup we're always being denied in the LPL. I'd love to see someone like TheShy piloting one of those champions in that matchup and really see like the highest level of trying to proc the vitals, trying to make sure the riposte.
You know what I didn't realize when we were hitting on like the top laners earlier for Weibo is, I mean, TheShy can also just get such great practice in-house. I mean, you can practice like any match. I guess I don't know now, because the Xiao probably isn't keeping up on top lane matchups at all. Because why would he? But who knows? You give Xiaohu like 3 hours, gets the matchup down, bam. Xiaohu in-house top lane 1v1s.
I'd love to see it. Can they stream that? Can they please stream that? I want to see it so bad. Game number 2. Comfortable win for Weibo. I think the biggest thing to take away from this second game was that they can so comfortably kind of mess about a bit in the mid game, just try and brute force and overforce, and then when it's not working out, go, okay, we'll play series again and end the game within the next 2 minutes. Like, it's a very impressive level of play we're seeing for Weibo right now.
I do gotta say though, you do need like that big of an advantage to do that.
Yeah, of course,
like,
but acknowledging that they have that advantage.
But I was gonna say, at the same time, you gotta think about it. In game, it's actually hard to know whether you're at, like, let's say a 4 or 5K or like a 10K advantage. Because if you do that with like a 4 or 5K, suddenly the game's like, now it's in striking distance for the enemy team, right?
Yeah.
You don't get to see your gold advantage, sadly, when you are playing on the Rift.
And often when it's like a 4K gold lead, like when you're watching teams in esports, it does feel like a big difference. But if that gold is spread across your team, like 800 gold ahead each is not that big of a deal. When it's stacked on one carry, it's huge. But when it's spread across the team, often that doesn't actually feel like that big of a gold difference.